we can sponsor that. But we have to be able to document every fact that we want to put on there, and that's why I haven't pushed, as well as the fact that, you know, our focus right now is to get the survey done and to get the site protected, and then once we do that, we can start making those improvements. And the historical markers, we could actually put them inside the fence, but where they can be seen from the river walk, and that would reduce the chances. Because I've seen, even in Texas, I mean, there's a historic cemetery not far from where I lived 5 or 6 years ago. It was an old family cemetery, and they had put up a historic marker, and kids or somebody came, and they broke it off with a pole, you know, and I just thought, you know, don't kids have anything better to do? But, so we want to do all that we can to ensure that whatever we put up will stay there, you know, as much as possible. Of course, there's no guarantee.
Put up that little chain that's supposed to keep everybody out.
Right. Yeah, that little
that's Georgia Power.
Post and cable. That's their idea.
Well, they have vehicles out, but you know they're not going to drive up that hill. They're just going to go.
They'll go on the dirt road.
Where we all the way out here. And that was put up after it was brought there that there was a cemetery there.
That's where the cop goes at. The cop that I was telling y'all about yesterday, he drives up that road, and then where the washing machine and all was, he'll pull up that way, and then he backs up, and all that way he's pointed outwards.
Take his name.
Yes.
Well, I'd rather he not there than somewhere else, because at least he's there. You know, people will see him.
Talking about putting signs up and all, have y'all figured out what we're going to do about putting up a no trespassing sign or anything like that?
Well, we discussed I got various input from folks, and I think that the general feeling was it wasn't a good idea to say it's a cemetery yet until we have a fence, because we don't want people going out there digging for jewelry or whatever they can find. As far as no dumping and no trespassing, especially the no dumping part, these people that come up there and dump, no, they're not supposed to dump there.
Yeah.
I don't think you know, it would just be keeping the honest people honest.
Yeah.
You know, so rather than that, the course I'm pursuing is with Georgia Power. We got sidetracked when I was talking about my meeting with Scott. Besides the funding for the survey, I've also asked them if they can place a gate across the dirt road that they would have a key to and we would have a key to, and also possibly some barrier over there on the pathway on the north side, because John drove his truck up there. I've seen evidence where people do drive up in there too. So we need to put something up at least temporarily until we have a fence, and we would have to consult the archaeologist to make sure we're not disturbing graves or other historical, you know, whatever may be there. But I'm going to talk to Scott about that and get his response, because he didn't have an answer for me. Part of the issue is they have to have access to that siding monument on the bluff, and in one sense, my response is, well, tough. You're the ones that decided to put there on the cemetery, and you knew there was a cemetery there. We can prove. It's always been known there was a cemetery there, so I'm not very sympathetic, but at the same time, we are having to deal with them, and however we can cooperate with them, I'd like to do that. If we need to accommodate that in the sense of, you know, good citizenship.
Diplomacy.
Yeah, because they have deep pockets and a whole team of lawyers, and we're going to catch more flies with honey than vinegar. So I'm doing my best to, you know, be conciliatory, but that is a consideration. They need to get to that. Somebody I forget who it was saying, well, you know, with GPS technology now, what do they even need a physical sighting? But I don't know all the ins and outs of it. So
the same reason you need pencil and paper when you got a calculator or a computer.
It doesn't always work.
Yeah.
Always go back to the human mind.
Yeah. I suppose so.
They may end up having to move it after a while, though.
Well, they've already moved graves, so why bother now?
Well, they moved the headstones, but they didn't move the bodies.
Yeah, they did.
Did they?
Because they cut off the
Oh,
bluff.
they
Yeah.
cut everything off.
The dirt's not there.
Where
That-
the power
that-
lines are, that went straight across, there were graves there. And the
Oh.
graves went, according to what Ann and his pictures and what others have said, the graves went all the way to the river.
Well, from the steep hill from the fort that I call the shaft, up
Right.
the hill.
So where the peninsula goes out towards the middle of where the river flow would have been?
It's called
It was
Everett Hill.
25 acres, and it's less than 2.
And the article, I was reading that article from, I think it's the one from 1955, or it may be the one from 1928. It said that the village went all the way to the River Road, and I think the cemetery went farther in that direction too. But all of that's been regraded since they put the bypass.
Part of it 80, part of it the Riverwalk, part of it just Georgia Power in general.
So
And
we-
Georgia Power had an archaeology report that said there was no cemetery there.
And they
But
told me there was no cemetery
At
there.
one point in time, they had offered to some of the family members to move the families
Right.
back in the beginning, but now it's like, well, there's no cemetery there. And I can kind of understand why their reluctance to pay for our survey, because that would mean that the surveyors that they had lied.
Well, we can already prove
But
that.
see, they don't know that, I don't know that they know we have that information yet.
Well, they're
They
gonna
do.
find,
They know that we
They
have,
do because before I met John,
they know that we have the copies of their archaeology report that said there was no cemetery there.
Just out of curiosity, does anybody know about, in like a 1 acre field, how many graves could be in 1 acre?
well, we had a preliminary archaeological survey done, and the archaeologists estimated between 300 and 500 graves at the site, judging from what they could see in 2003.
That section that we've been working on, only.
Just in that section?
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
They didn't go
And that's
down
about
the
a
hill,
2 acre section,
and they
so you can
didn't
figure
go-
roughly 150 to 200 per acre.
There's, you know, and while we're on that, as a matter of fact,
I don't blame you.
I was
You got
last
it.
night, I was gonna work
They cut that away?
on my
They
paperwork
just
last
destroyed
night.
it?
and I
It
was
probably
so
went
tired,
all in the
I slept.
Chattahoochee.
Yeah,
And I was
it's
like, I'm
probably in
going
the
to bed, and I'll get up
Chattahoochee
and do it in the morning.
or, you know.
And I turned out the light, and I was lying there, and I was thinking about my meeting with
Mhm.
God, and what I'm gonna
And there were
say.
caves down there that they built.
you slept anyway.
And we're gonna go, I got up and I
Yeah.
went through this letter.
From the creek.
You know, I can say we're gonna have another one of those pictures, like one of those with the hands on the hip, going, "Oh, I can't believe this."
Anyway, I guess we're pretty much on that. So, but I went through that letter and picked out all of the inaccuracies and mistakes. And it's referenceable. We'll do that later. Are there any more announcements? So we need to move this along. We'll be here forever.
What was her name yesterday, the Spanish little girl?
Maria.
And Susan has thought about getting up a bake sale.
Yeah.
Is anybody interested?
I told them that I would be willing, I volunteer John to cook.
You know what? I volunteer my husband to cook too.
I'm sure he appreciates it.
Why isn't John here?
Because he's laid on the sofa watching war movies.
He'll bake twice as many.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just tell him when I need, he'll do it.
Okay, good.
One question about that is, where would we sell those? What would be our?
We could set up at probably
Walmart.
any of the stores
Sam's.
around, Walmart or Sam's.
When I was at
And then-
Lowe's, the Cub Scouts were set up out there selling this
Listen,
candied popcorn.
The other
I
weekend-
supported the Boy Scouts
Yeah,
too.
I've been there, done that.
Yep.
I was one of those parents out there. But I went one weekend and they had the firemen collected money from MS.